This is a trace of exercise 10.3 from our textbook, and I'm going to start right in main. Step 1, I make a rectangle object with x, y, and a width and a height. I'm going to abbreviate the width and the height to W and H for the purposes of this. And name it box1 because that's the name of the variable. Inside that variable, we know that it's keeping track of x, y, and then a width and a height, which I will abbreviate here. All of this is taking place inside main, so I'll just make myself a little zone for that to keep myself organized. And I'll fill in those values as 2, 4, 7, and 9. In line 2, I make a point, and it looks like before I can fill it in, I'm going to have to make a call to find center. But I will get my point ready here to remind myself when I come back that I give myself a place to fill it in. Its name will be P1, and I know that point is going to be tracking x and y coordinates. So I'll make a place for that to happen. And now I can't fill them in yet because I haven't called my find center method. Somewhere here, I guess I'll put my find center method here. I'm passing in box 1. I'll only take one parameter, or it's a rectangle parameter, and I'm passing in box 1 for it. So box is pointing directly over here into this actual other variable. So box is aliased to box 1 because objects are passed by reference in methods in Java. Unlike some other languages where they are not passed by reference, Java passes all objects by reference. Okay, so we're up here in find center, and I've set up my variables. Step 4, it looks like I'm taking the x, and then I'm adding to it the width divided by 2, same as the last video. So I'll take the width, and now box.width is an integer, I think. So 7 divided by 2 is going to give us a 3, and then I'm going to add x to it, which is a 5, and that will be stored in an int, which is named x. So that 5 will be here. In this next line, line 5, pretend that's a 5, I'm doing the same thing with y, box.y. And box.height, so I divided the height by 2, which is 4, add the y value to it, which is also 4, and that means that my variable y is 8. So 9 divided by 2, 4 plus 4 is 8 into y. In step 6, I return a new point with those coordinates. So that new point is going to have 5, 8, and that is the one that is going to be flowing right here into P1. So I'll go ahead and put the 5 and the 8 right here in P1. Okay, and the next I print out the point, print point. There's a method called print point, excellent. So I call print point. I pass in P for the point. Here's my print point area. It takes a point P. P is alias to whatever gets passed into it. P and P1 are the same thing right at this moment in time. I print out, looks like parenthesis, the actual x value, comma, and the y value. So in my output, I'll have 5, 8 coming out. That's all print point does, so I'm going to go down to step 10, where I call box.grow 1, 1. Grow is going to modify the width and the height of the box, not the x and y coordinates. So after my call to box1.grow, the width will be 8, and also the height will be 8. Well, it'll be 10. Undo. Okay, so I add 1 to each one of these. That's step 11. I call find center again. So let's see if I can make this. Box 1 is being passed in again to box, so I'll leave that arrow where it is. X and Y are new values, so I'm going to just leave them. I'm going to put a line so that I can see that this is a new call to find center and start over. So up in Find Center, I'm not at step 12. And here at 13, I'm going to update X with my new values. So I take the box's width divided by 2, add the X. I think we're going to get the same numbers because I'm going to go 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and add 2 to it. Well, I get 6. Great. And then on the next line, line 14, I will do the same thing with the height. I'll take 10 divided by 2 is 5, add the 4, and that gives me 9. So now I have 6, 9 is my new point that I'm returning on line 15, and that will get stored here on line 11 back in P2. So P2 is a new point. I'll make it here. Still in main. P2 also has an X and a Y, and those values that I just calculated will be 6 and 9. On step 16, I do a print point of P2. And so up on step 17, I fill in my variables. This time, print point, this is no longer pointing at P1, it's pointing at P2, because that's what I'm printing right now. And my output becomes, at step 18, 6, 9.